Justin, what do Ben Affleck and George Clooney have in common?
They were both in terrible Batman movies.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. Not too bad. Just worked a lot. It's been pretty boring because last week was the Super Bowl. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, it wasn't worth watching, to be honest.
No. I saw you posted about The Weeknd.
I really liked it. I mean, I immediately thought of the Joker scene where he's controlling himself. And The Weeknd apparently tweeted that later on with the voiceover of Heath Ledger. I was like, that's awesome. I'm so glad. But it was more production than like explosion.
Yeah. The guy that directed that and his entire crew, I wrote for him for a second. I saw him post something. I might be wrong, but I saw him post something where he said, from my garage to here.
Yeah, I knew a couple people from my high school that were dancers in that with the mask. There was two of them.
Isn't that crazy? Like the older we get, like we're just gonna know people that are just way more successful than us.
Yeah, I'm just
I know, yeah, no, it's like good for you.
Yeah.
When am I gonna get my shot?
Yeah, we're working on it. We're gonna get there. I mean that performance is up there with Prince, I think, because he played guitar in the rain, and Prince is Minnesota's pride and joy. So
is he from Minnesota?
As well as most of the world. Yeah, dude. He had like a whole recording studio in Minnesota. Like he was Minnesota's icon. Like
I never realized that you have like the slightest Minnesota accent.
It slips.
When you released the episode and I was like watching it, and then I totally there's some moments you're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I have to specify anything before we continue. I don't think we do, because this is our pilot episode. Technically, it seems like Hollywood is like going back into full swing, because these last like few days or like week or so, news has been rolling out, like big news. It's like big casting, and it's like productions are finally continuing again because I don't know, a lot of reasons, I think, but
yeah, the world's kind of getting back to a little bit normal, which is cool, especially for movies.
All right, Justin. So I'm going to read you something that Steven Spielberg said that I think will kick off our pilot episode very well.
All right, let's do it.
So this is what Steven Spielberg says with Empire about why cinema will never die. He says, in the current health crisis where movie theaters are shuttered and attendance is drastically limited because of the global pandemic, I still have hope, bordering on certainty, that when it's safe, audiences will go back to the movies. I've always devoted myself to our movie-going community, movie-going as in leaving our homes to go to the theater, and community meaning a feeling of fellowship with others who have left their homes and are seated with us. In a movie theater, you watch movies with the significant others in your life, but also in the company of strangers. That's the magic we experience when we go out to see a movie or a play or a concert or a comedy act. We don't know who all these people are sitting around us, but when the experience makes us laugh or cry or cheer or contemplate, and then when the lights come up and we leave our seats, the people with whom we head out into the real world don't feel like complete strangers anymore. We become a community, alike in heart and spirit, or at any rate alike in having shared for a couple hours a powerful experience. That brief interval in a theater doesn't erase the many things that divide us, race or class or belief or gender or politics. But our country and our world will feel less divided, less fractured, after a congregation of strangers have laughed, cried, jumped out of their seats together, all at the same time. Art asks us to be aware of the particular and the universal, both at once. And that's why all of the things that have the potential to unite us, none is more powerful than the communal experience of the arts.
Damn. Cue the claps.
I like that he says the community, like of the arts in general. Like he doesn't specify. Like he's a director. He's talking about like his and cinema specifically. That's how it starts. But he ends with the communal experience of the arts as a whole, which I think is really cool.
There's no feeling like seeing like that. The best part about that is the fact that like seeing something with people that you love, but also you're seeing it with a bunch of people you don't know, and to seeing their reactions to it, not just your like significant other, your friends, but seeing like other people's reactions, and you read in the room. That's the best part about going to the movies, because there's some movies I'll see where I'm like, I fucking hate this, And my friends are like, we fucking hate this. But then everyone else around us is like, ooh, oh my God. I'm like, are we missing something? What's going on?
I think that's what I realized when I like, just from a movie theater standpoint, like if I'm going to see a movie and I don't like it, but like we're all experiencing the same thing, it's a matter of like you realizing the people around you and how they're experiencing it too. It's not just you. And that's something that you have to be aware of. Good people, I feel like, are very aware that the people around them could be not enjoying the things that are happening, and you could be vice versa. And I think, yeah, that's a huge statement on like everything that's been going on. And I think some people are really, really open to the idea of like, yes, we're back fully, but it's like some people are still like, well, yeah, we're in those baby steps. So it's like, I think that the main thing that everyone should realize is like, we never stopped moving, which is cool.
Yeah, no, there's always moving forward, no matter what.
Yeah, in some way or another.
Really quick, every single Super Bowl spot that came on, it was so funny because they're like, most of them said they didn't have like dates, but it did say only in theaters.
Yeah, there's M. Night Shyamalan's movies right in the beginning, only in theaters. It's like that has a whole different meaning now.
Yeah. No,
It's
it really does. It makes you like it makes my ears perk up like a dog whenever I see it.
yeah,
Like,
or it's
what?
just like, okay, all right.
Because that's what when Tenet, the trailer for Tenet came out
Mhm.
during all this, Christopher Nolan said that too. He was like, only in theaters.
Yeah,
It's not going to, and technically he did get what he wanted.
there's some really good marketing for Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy. Have you
Yeah,
seen
I
this?
saw some stuff
He came
with
out with
that.
a trailer. It was originally supposed to come out in December. He was like, "We're coming out in December," and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do a couple more," and then they like say every holiday over the next year. And they're like, "Oh, we're coming out Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day," and it's just like we're coming out eventually. It's just like, oh, they're honest with the people. It's like,
Yeah.
just be aware of our movie.
Yeah, no, and there's some movies that actually do just belong in this like new platform of VOD, like Coming to America, the sequel to Coming to America. Like that one, when I heard it was going to Amazon, I was like, good. That's where it kind of like, I don't think that movie would have made a lot of money. It's so funny. Eddie Murphy always does this where he's like, he makes a movie, like he comes back, he makes a great movie like Dolomite. It's like,
Mhm,
oh, dude, what are you gonna do next?
mhm.
Coming to America too. It's like, what? Why?
That fun. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it looks fun. Honestly, the trailers, like, I'm like, okay, this could go both ways. It doesn't look like it's going Dumb and Dumber 2, though,
No,
which is
not at
great.
all. Yeah, it's sticking to it. It's not trying to change anything. It feels like Dumb and Dumber tried to change a lot of things in the way
Yeah,
of like being kind of grosser.
yeah, yeah,
And I
and more
think
mean
this one is
spirited
less.
too.
This one's it's more mean. This one's less. It's PG-13. Coming to America one was
I love the first one because of mostly because of the R-rated jokes. Whenever
Mhm,
anybody says "fuck" in that movie, it would always make me laugh as a kid. Like
mhm.
Samuel Jackson coming in and he's just screaming. Like I think that was the first time I ever heard Samuel Jackson say "fuck." I was like, dude, this is amazing.
Did you know that he got surpassed in saying on TV, saying the F word on screen? He got
Oh yeah,
surpassed. It was him originally for a few until last year.
I know exactly who it is. It's Jonah Hill.
Yes, Jonah Hill surpassed Samuel L. Jackson in saying the
That's
F word on screen.
right.
I
That
think
has
that's
to
sweet.
be.
They're gonna be fighting. It's gonna be like a records for the next 10 years of them just surpassing each other. It's pretty
That's
funny.
insane. Yeah, no, I if I were Samuel Jackson, I would be looking for a script right now that
Yeah,
has one more.
call up Tarantino and be like, how many F words you got? 612? Double it. Speaking of Tarantino, that will be a good segue into our 10 stories. Quentin Tarantino said he's only making 10 films and retiring, right?
Yep, yep. And he's not counting Kill Bill Volume 2. But I know he said technically the Kill Bill movies are one movie because it's telling the same story. What did you think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I cried.
Really?
Yeah, when I cried when Sharon Tate was watching the movie in the theater. That's when I
Oh yeah.
cried because that was just so heavy because he had this good mix of the emotion of the reality of what happened. So what I was gonna say is he was gonna retire. Quentin Tarantino is retiring after 10 films, and he still technically has two more then to come out.
Yeah. At least I think so.
And then he's gonna retire, he said, and starts adapting his movies into plays and books. But his first official book is coming out when it's the adaptation of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's kind of an odd choice for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood being the novel. I wish that he did that for Hateful Eight. I don't know. The Hateful Eight just had so many like good characters and just like had such a good setting, and it
Mhm.
just had just I don't know. There's just so much. There's like I was so entertained by that movie.
Yeah, Hateful Eight is definitely going to be on the stage in the next 10 years. So this it's
Or grow up.
confirmed that the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book will be released in June of 2021. So I felt like we had to start with Quentin Tarantino as a film podcast. You just got to get it out there. Everyone's ears perk up a little bit.
You got to get some Tarantino going. So in June, damn, that's coming out very soon.
Yeah, he's got a 2-book deal, so we'll see what his next book is. I remember the first novelization that I ever read or was told to read to was Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. And the thing that got me into it was the novelization gave Dr. Octopus's tentacles, they gave them dialogue when they would talk to him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like you see
Interesting.
the scenes where like the scenes in the movie, they give extra dialogue from the tentacles and the ones he's responding to. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
My first novelization I think was Sky High. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
wow.
Yeah,
I remember
I'm
seeing
pretty
that in
sure.
the stores.
I had a lot of novelizations. I had quite the collection.
So let's go to our next story.
Next little topic.
We are officially getting a Cloverfield sequel, direct sequel from the 2008 movie that was directed by Matt Reeves.
Yeah, as long as it's better than the Cloverfield Paradox and improves on the flaws of 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think it's gonna be fine. The thing is with Cloverfield Paradox and 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I actually really do like 10 Cloverfield Lane. Besides the ending, I think 10 Cloverfield Lane is pretty like very, very close to being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing with both movies is that they weren't written as Cloverfield movies and they weren't filmed as Cloverfield movies at first.
Yeah, they were.
All this stuff just happens because J.J. Abrams was a producer and he was like, this movie's not working. Oh, Cloverfield. And for the most part, it worked for 10 Cloverfield Lane because it had so much other stuff that was really good. It had great performances. And like there was just a lot more going on in that movie. Cloverfield Paradox, though, holy shit, it got ripped apart by trying to tie it into Cloverfield. And that last shot of the movie really, really like that's what set me and my buddy off. Because I remember that was when the marketing was cool. Then the Super Bowl was going and they released the trailer for this, and I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? And I saw the title. I was like, what?
I think it said now streaming.
Yeah, and so I immediately called my buddy and I was like, dude, we gotta watch this. And he was like, I just saw it too. We have to fucking watch it.
Why didn't any movie do that this year?
I don't know.
That was incredible marketing. Of like, you can watch it right now. That's the perfect time to do it right now.
I have faith in this new one because if they're writing it as a Cloverfield movie and it's not just a script they found or a movie they found that just wasn't really working and been like, oh, let's just shove Cloverfield down there.
So the thing about the new Cloverfield movie is it's a direct sequel, but it won't be found footage.
Yeah, no, I like
the
that.
thing I want to mention is the Cloverfield is the first movie that I like started film like theories about.
Same.
Where I was like, what is this monster? Who is this monster? Where does this come from? Is this Godzilla? This is when I started to figure out like interviews from people who made the movie. And J.J. Abrams was like, I wanted to make an American Godzilla. I wanted to make this universe for America of monster films. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just did more research, and they have this like fictional company in the movie called Slusho. And that just put me down a K-hole of like, I'm going to figure all about Slusho. And then I got all the way into this like theory of like Manhattan is the monster killing the people. And I stumbled across this video. There's a whole diagram of like Manhattan on like this iceberg type. And it was like the monster's underneath just reaching around everyone. And I was like, oh my, because from the poster, they're like, can you see the tentacle coming from under the coast? And then the one with the Statue of Liberty. And I was like, this is awesome.
Dude, no, the marketing for the first two movies is phenomenal. At first, it was just called 1/15/2007.
Yeah, it's just the date. Yeah, it was the
And
date.
if you went on the website, it was just a bunch of pictures. It's like just a bunch of New Year's pictures.
That movie was so
like, what
good.
the fuck is this?
That movie was so cool. That was like the found footage was everything was just so cool about it, I thought. And the director is making the new Batman film.
Yeah, Matt Reeves, dude, and he did the Planet of the Apes movies too.
That's just so cool. That was his first feature, wasn't it? Feature film.
Yeah, Cloverfield was
Remember?
his first feature, I believe.
Oh, it was written by Drew Goddard too, who's huge. He wrote a lot of good movies. Oh my God.
What?
Matt Reeves' first movie was The Pallbearer. Directed. The first movie he directed was The Pallbearer. Second movie was Cloverfield. Oh my God, The Pallbearer. David Schwimmer. How?
I know, that's
Matt
so
Reeves,
funny.
dude. You didn't hear about what happened with GameStop.
No, I did not. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my laptop.
Essentially, people can buy stocks. Like any person can buy stocks now through apps like Robinhood and stuff like that. And a bunch of people gathered on the internet. Well, on Reddit, they just started talking about these stocks that were dying out because the big businesses didn't want to invest into them anymore. So they're just like, we're just going to kill off these companies because they're useless now. And so all these people on the internet were like, we don't want these companies to die. We're going to show these people, like show these big companies that these companies will survive based on only smaller investors. And so they did it with GameStop and AMC stocks. So the stock prices of AMC and GameStop skyrocketed through just individual investors through that was all accumulated through Reddit and stuff, like a
Jesus.
lot of money. And this is like a huge, like, did you see The Big Short? This is kind of like what happened with the big,
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it
it's
sounds
like
like
these companies,
the
yeah, these companies were shorting these smaller company or these other companies because they're like, you're pointless now. Like GameStop is all digital, like all games are digital. AMC, everything's digital, streaming and stuff. So you're like, we're not going to give up. Not going to give up on these companies. And they just chose GameStop and AMC kind of as a platform, but they're still doing it. That other companies and saving all these smaller companies and saying F you to the big guys. It's the stock market. So that's kind of, I could be wrong in some ways.
I think I remember like the memes on GameStop.
There's 7 productions already that are about the GameStop.
It sounds like these are mostly going to be documentaries.
You'd be surprised. No, there's actually, we're going to talk about these 4 that are not documentaries. They're adaptations. The first one is called The Antisocial Network, but it's based on a book called The Accidental Billionaires, which I
Based
guess
off of
is
that.
about, yeah, amateur investors, gamers, and internet trolls who bring down Wall Street to its knees, which I don't like that they put them as internet trolls.
Yeah, no, I don't
I
think
think they're just
trolls.
angry. the people calling them trolls are just angry.
Oh yes, yeah. No, it's just like The Big Short, but it's not these like greedy ass motherfuckers that are seeing it and being like, oh, we can profit off of this. It's
Mhm.
actually everybody's being the Christian Bale character.
Will the Antisocial Network win an award?
It could if it's
Just based on the title.
yeah, based on the title, yes.
Let's see. There's another one that's untitled. It's for Netflix. Netflix has the rights to this. It's
Of course.
from the Oscar-winning writer Mark Bowl, who did The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30.
Oh.
And it's has a star attached, Noah Centineo from All the
Oh
Boys I've Loved
God.
Before. That big Netflix. He has a huge Netflix deal. He's in like every
Yeah.
Netflix movie right now.
He's awful.
Oh, this next one is by Rat Pack. I don't know who the distribution is, but it says that the Jamie Rogozinski, I guess his name is, he's the founder of the subreddit Wall Street Bets, which are basically this is the one that they were all talking on, I think, and he sold his life rights so people could tell the story. And I think he has a book called Wall Street Bets: How Boomers Made the World's Biggest Casino for Millennials.
You know who should buy the rights to it is the same guy who did Big Short, Brad Pitt.
Plan B.
Yeah, is that Brad Pitt's
Plan B is
company?
Pitt, yeah.
But they should buy it because Brad Pitt, I'm not a big fan of him as an actor, but as a producer, he's done some great shit.
Yeah, Plan B is good. I wonder if he called it Plan B because he's like, I like this movie, but I'm not going to be in it, so we'll give it to Plan B.
Probably.
We'll let my production company do it, but I won't be in it unless I'm bored later.
I'm gonna start a production company called Plan C.
Plancy.
Plancy. Plancey.
And it's like it's like a plant with a fancy hat. All right, our last one is not a movie; it's a TV series.
Like a miniseries.
Probably. This one is a TV series called To the Moon. Have you seen those memes? So the plot of this one says the show will follow 2 roommates laid off from their jobs at GameStop and AMC who turned COVID into lemonade by using their stimulus checks to dip into the world of day trading. It's The Big Short meets Reddit. In this chronicle of the movement that grabbed Wall Street by the wallet and chucked it all the way to the moon. I would do a script like that.
Yeah,
I
no,
did. I
exactly. The
had.
way that they broke that down is that sounds like it could be funny.
That's how I picture it. That's how I pictured the whole story unfolding as people in their bedroom. Like,
I think that could be really good.
all right, so we're gonna go into our next big story. Do you want to break
This
into
one
this
is
one?
fucking nuts. So everybody knows Little Yachty, rapper.
Little Yachty in movies. How are these associated, Justin?
It gets crazier, Elijah. It's not just Little Yachty gonna be in a movie. He's gonna be in a movie based off of the beloved game Uno.
Uno.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And guess what? Because why not? We're already having Lil Yachty be in a movie that's going to be based off of Uno, but it's also going to be an action heist.
An action heist set in the underground hip hop world of Atlanta.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad SNL sketch 1st,
Mhm.
but I also said, which is something that you and I were talking about before on our last episode, if they have Phil Lord and Chris Miller direct or produce this, I think it'll be
There's a
interesting and worth
chance.
my
There's
time.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs in this.
Yes, but the thing is, Lil Yachty, I just don't know.
I'm trying to find his IMDb, but he's not that popular on IMDb. What is his Little Yachty?
I hope that he uses his real name. Oh, he doesn't like his real name's not confirmed.
Yeah, no, he goes.
Dude,
by
we're
Lil
older than this kid.
Yachty. A year younger than us.
How High too? And he was also in Life Size too.
Life Size with Tyra Banks. I love the first one.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh, she eats the thing of butter. That was my favorite part.
I did not know they made a sequel. I didn't know they made a sequel to How High.
I did not either. So yeah, he's Uno. Uno is becoming a movie.
It sounds like he should be doing Uno too.
Uno 2. Uno dos.
Uno dos.
So Mattel Films is going to be on our radar, I feel like, for the next few years. And we should be listening for the keywords of Mattel Films because these are the films that are coming out in the next few years. They are coming out with the Barbie film. They're coming out with a Hot Wheels movie. These are all live action, by the way. An American Girl film.
Oh my
They're
god.
making the Masters of the Universe remake with,
Interesting.
I believe that's Noah Centineo also, or whatever, that Netflix kid. And they're also making a Magic 8 Ball movie. They're making the live action Barney movie with Daniel Kaluuya and the Lil Yachty movie, Bob the Builder. They're making a live action animated film, Cabbage Patch Kids. Tell Films, where did this company come? Where did this studio come from? Or did they
It sounds like that they own toys. It sounds like they're a toy company. Just having like Uno and action heist, that right there is like, okay, all right.
I don't see how this could be a heist film unless it's like they have to like steal this one specific card that's like worth something. I don't know. I don't see it. Like,
Yeah.
and you have to cherish this card, or maybe this one Uno card is magic and it makes you famous.
That's what I would think. Magic card. Then he becomes famous. Yeah. And you have to say Uno in order for it to come true or some shit. Someone comes in, the bad guy with the +4. Whoever's writing it has to really come up with a solid concept to make this work.
Justin, what do Ben Affleck and George Clooney have in common?
They were both in terrible Batman movies.
Did George Clooney play it multiple times or just the one time?
Just the one time.
he knew it. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck never learned his lesson. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Ben Affleck is actually my favorite movie Batman. I know it's kind of controversial, but
that's not controversial. I've heard a lot of people love Ben Affleck. Like individually. He
could have been something really good if they really focused on him. If they made a Batman movie where like I think that him and Zack Snyder could have made something cool. Mm-hmm. But George Clooney was the worst.
What do you think it was about him that made it so bad? Was it the writing? He just took it
the direction, the writing.
Because he is the charisma to the T. He's charisma.
Yeah, no, you could just tell that he did not like anything that was going on in that movie. But so no, this is interesting though, because it's George Clooney directing Ben Affleck, right?
Ben Affleck has been talking to George Clooney, I guess, about joining his new movie called The Tender Bar. The Tender Bar is Amazon is producing and putting out the movie. And it's George Clooney directing and also producing.
Yeah, no, I'm interested, but the thing is, George Clooney, I'm not a fan of George Clooney as a director. Pretty sure I've seen all of his movies. The best one is his first movie that he directed called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. That was my first Sam Rockwell.
That's written by
Charlie Kaufman.
Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah, Charlie Kaufman had nothing good to say about George Clooney.
Oh.
Because he said that he completely fucked up his script and that George Clooney was like, uh, all these scenes that you have are impossible to film. And Charlie Kaufman was like, well, that's why we should hire somebody that can actually do it, because you can't.
If you're
So
saying that,
it's,
you should not be the director.
yeah, yeah. Like it just
Mhm.
sounds like he is just one of the, I think that he's a great, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he looks like a fun guy to work with, but turns out he's just a really, really bland director. Like he has nothing to say.
Some people are creative and good at certain things, but not all things. And I think George Clooney might feel like he's multifaceted because of how people portray him, but
Uh-huh.
he's just a good human and a good actor. You don't have to be a good director, George.
No.
It's okay.
But hey, I'm glad he's given our boy Ben Affleck some work. Turns out Affleck has a lot of shit coming out soon. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff that he's doing because I was pretty shocked. So he wrapped production on this new Regency thriller called Deep Water. He's doing a Ridley Scott period piece, which he also wrote with Matt Damon.
Oh yeah, The Last
called
Duel.
The Last Duel, which
is that like 17th century?
Yeah, I think so. But he's also Affleck found his next directing project, which this is the one that I'm most excited about. It's called The Big Goodbye, which tells the behind the scenes story of the making of Chinatown.
So someone will play Jack Nicholson probably.
Yeah.
Probably Jack Nicholson's son.
Ooh.
He does have a son, but I think he might be around the same age of it when he made that movie. This movie I put on the 10 news list because this sounds like a 90s movie that already exists, kind of. It's called Bullet Train. Have you heard anything about this?
I have not.
It's got quite a stacked cast. You can imagine it's about a very fast train, right?
Oh, sweet. It's going to be like Speed.
Speed, yes. Okay, yes. Speed. I feel like it's going to be like Speed. Let me tell you the cast. It's got Brad Pitt as its leading man. He's going to be an action hero. I hope he doesn't just walk around and investigate and look at everyone in their seat.
Yeah.
I hope he actually fights. I haven't seen Brad Pitt in a fight scene in so long, like a real one. And Joey King from the Kissing Booth movies. Yeah. We got Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is from the Kick-Ass movies, played Quicksilver in the MCU. We got Brian Tyree Henry.
I like that guy.
From Atlanta. And was joined by Zazie Beetz from Joker and Deadpool 2. Masioka. Do you know who that is? He was in a show called Heroes. He's the guy who could control time. Michael Shannon. We got Lady Gaga. Or I guess she was a singer or something, I guess. Logan Lerman. We got Bad Bunny in the cast.
Okay.
I think this is going to be his debut. And last but not least, Sandra Bullock.
Ooh.
We're going to get Sandra Bullock back on a speeding vehicle. Not a boat, not a bus, but a train.
Hey, so who's
the director?
Yeah.
The director is, I believe, David Leitch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he directed John Wick. Yeah, he directed Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2, Hobbs. Oh, he's also doing Nobody.
Oh, no, he produced it. I don't think he directed it.
Oh, you're right. Bullet Train.
I think it's based on a book or it's like a Japanese film. And it's about these terrorists who cause havoc on a speeding bullet train.
I'm with it. I'm with that.
Oh, Justin, I put this next story on just for you. I think we might have conflicting views on this. We are getting a reboot. How do you feel about reboots in general?
It depends. Like there's certain movies I do think need to be rebooted. Mm-hmm. Also movies that are dated that just wouldn't work today, but the movie's still good. So I wish that they would like just update it a bit. But other than that, no. I think most reboots are they're just cash grabs.
So we are getting a reboot of Cheaper by the Dozen.
Another reboot. This is like the third
starring
reboot.
Who?
Garden State's own Zach Braff.
Oh,
he's honestly the worst.
Really? You don't like him?
But Zach Braff as a person, like just the things that he does and the things that he says is like, go fuck yourself, bro. Like his second directorial effort was Wish I Was Here. Not only was it bad, how he raised the money.
Yeah, he Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, and he was technically the highest paid TV actor at the time.
Yeah, he just didn't want to use any of his money to make it.
Just did not want to use it. Goddamn, and the budget for the movie, he asked for $2 million or something like that. And it's like, dude.
I mean, I think a lot of people should have realized, why isn't the studio making this movie? Because they didn't want to.
Yeah, no, Wish I Was Here was when I was like, oh, Zach Braff is a pretentious fuck. And that movie ruined Garden State for me. Have you ever seen that Punked episode? I'm really getting hard on Zach Braff right now.
I think I have. I think he got very angry, right?
They had to ban the episode. Dude, no, he literally tried to punch a kid that was pranking him. Like he fucked up his car and
Yeah, and
everything.
he was like grabbing
He
his
had
collar.
him. They had to like stop him. Like,
Mhm.
and he was a Donald Faison too.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this anymore. You're right.
Yeah, no, Zach Braff's kind of a
I
piece
was
of
pretty
shit.
excited about the idea of Cheaper by the Dozen because I obviously like you grew up with the Steve Martin one, right?
Oh hell yeah,
The both of them. Did you watch both of them, right?
yeah, yeah.
You liked
I
them,
don't mind
right?
the second one. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
like both.
like them too.
I think they're
I
cute.
watched them so young.
So the thing that I do like about this Cheap by the Dozen reboot though is that they got Gabrielle Union Union and Kenya Barris who's done Blackish. Maybe if they do like a gender swap where he's the disgruntled husband and she's the one that's like dealing with all of this, then maybe this could work.
Yeah, I think they will do that. I like that.
That could work.
Zach Braff is like one of the later castings. They cast Gabrielle Union first.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that's probably it. Okay,
Yeah.
then that's
I think
that
Gabrielle Union is going to be Steve Martin's character.
Okay.
I tend to separate art and people.
I agree with you. Usually I could do that too. But Zach Braff, it's different because like, especially with the movies that he's leading in, Zach Braff loves Zach Braff. Zach Braff is Zach Braff's best friend and number one fan. See, if he keeps doing like supporting stuff, because I do believe in redemptions. If he keeps doing like some supporting stuff, then maybe he can get back.
I think that's the thing is he hasn't come back out. This might be us seeing like, oh, he is a family man again. Like,
no.
See him.
Dude, no one wants to listen to the Shins anymore. It's not 2005.
Let's go to the next story.
This one I'm most excited about.
It's one of our most anticipated movies of this year.
Yes. It's Tick, Tick, Boom, which is Lin-Manuel Miranda directorial debut, which that part's very exciting. But it's also about Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent. And the thing about Jonathan Larson, which is insane, it wasn't originally supposed to be a play. Jonathan Larson was just going through a huge funk, and so he wrote this 90-minute rock album or rock monologue, which you can find on YouTube. You can find certain clips from it, and he's singing these songs that ended up going to Tick, Tick, Boom. So he does this 90-minute rock monologue, and this producer sees him, and he's like, "Hey, what else do you have?" And he's like, "Well, I have this show that I'm working on called Rent." And they were like, "Okay, let's do it." They started doing it, and the day Rent premiered, he died randomly of some kind of aneurysm because of stress. He was just stressing himself out too much.
I just found that out when I was looking up some stuff about this. I just found that out as they might have misdiagnosed him with something.
Yeah,
that stress took a toll on him more than a lot of other people.
Yeah, it's basically an aneurysm in some way, shape, or form. But then the entire so that's what's so special about Tick, Tick, Boom is because, and especially if you listen to all the songs, it's this man who at the time was just like, oh man, I'm gonna be nothing. Like no one's ever gonna remember me, and that sucks, And he's like coming to terms with that. It's like no one's gonna remember me, and then he passes, and next thing you know, that the day that show premiered, it fucking blew up, and everyone was like, "Who's this Jonathan Larson guy?" And then
it seems very Vincent Van Gogh. If you know, like Vincent Van Gogh he was not famous when he was alive. His paintings were all held up in his house. No one really saw them. He was just like a local painter, I think.
Well, just like Mitch Hedberg too.
Mitch Hedberg. Oh yes,
yeah.
Mitch Hedberg is amazing. Me and my family, we have this thing when we like can't hear each other or like we repeat ourselves a couple times and we're like, it doesn't matter. We always say that tree is far away. Because he has this joke. He's like, the tree is far away. And the guy walked up and was like, what'd you say? He was like, I said that tree is far away. And when he realized how unimportant it was, he was like, oh, sorry.
My favorite Mitch Hedberg joke is I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too.
He's so good. He had this type of comedy that was so good. Just
he was the Kurt Cobain of comedy. It's one of those frustrating things because he was pretty amazing. But yeah, no, Tick, Tick, Boom though. So after he died and Rent was going to be a thing, they were like, well, we wish that there was something else that this guy did. And there was the producer of Rent. I don't know if I'm getting this completely accurate, but one of the producers of Rent, they were like, well, the reason why we found him is because of this monologue that he did, Tick, Tick, Boom. It's like, what if we just like get that and like we just make it a 3-actor piece? Lin-Manuel Miranda starred in Tick, Tick, Boom. And he's just talking to the audience about how he's going to basically be a failure. And then the audience could just cry and be like, "You're not a failure, man. You're one of the
Yeah,
biggest."
because the whole musical is set in the 1990s, and it's like
Mhm.
about an aspiring theater composer who like he's a waiter, and he like he's like waiting to figure out if he's gonna be something with this talent that he has, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. And the thing is that it's all true too. It's all what actually happened to him. Like,
Hmm.
and it's pretty fascinating. Yeah, Andrew Garfield is playing Jonathan Larson too,
Hmm.
which although I haven't heard him sing, and I'm wondering if he can
I think
do
he
that.
has
But
I think he has a history on the stage. But do you know who else is in the movie?
Vanessa Hudgens, baby, dude. No, I'm excited because she's gonna be playing his wife, I believe.
Hmm.
And if she is playing the wife, she's going to deliver. And I really do encourage you, Elijah, and everybody to listen to the album because it's for anybody who's just lost. Like the way that he describes just like giving up, but refusing to give up, but you're like mentally declining, but you're still like your ambition's still there. It's top notch. Yeah, no, this is gonna be great. And the thing is, like, I'm really excited for Lin-Manuel Miranda because he was in the show, and he's a big fan of Jonathan Larson, and he's also big in musical theater, and he's just familiar with the material. Unlike Rent, which they hired Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alone, to do this movie about the AIDS crisis. Like, I don't know why they chose Christopher Columbus, but not Christopher Columbus. He was sailing the ocean blue in 1492. I still think this is gonna be something really special because Lin-Manuel Miranda, like, he's already talked about this when he was doing the show of just how personal this show was to him because he was going through the same exact thing. And I felt like I still feel like I'm going through the same thing right now because it's just all about, I'm sure that you are too. It's just all about just like wanting to accomplish that dream, but it feels so goddamn far away.
Hmm.
And the entire thing, the reason why it's called Tick Tick Boom is because he has this ticking in his sound in his head, and he feels like when he turns 30, it's just gonna explode, and that he's just going to. And isn't that interesting? Because that's what ended up fucking happening too.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really it's crazy. It's an emotional roller coaster. I think it's gonna be interesting. He's done like other little things, but he, for the most part, I don't know, he just died too soon, and just one of those, just like Mitch Hedberg. He's just one of those guys that's like, fuck, man, he could have done so much. And that's what people, if you watch this, there's a documentary on Rent. It's really good. And one of the producers was brutally honest. And he was like, look, I think Rent is good for what it's done for the theater community. But if Jonathan Larson was still alive today, we would have cut out so much stuff. But they just felt like because he died, they were like,
They couldn't
we don't feel, we didn't
assume.
feel right changing anything that he did. So that's why it feels so underwritten. Hopefully this movie will Tick Tick Boom will make his legacy come to life and people will become more interested in him because yeah, he's a fascinating individual. All right, let's move on before I talk about this for another 3.5 hours.
This is some video game news, some video game adaptations. I played a little bit of it. It's very colorful. It's called Borderlands. Have you seen any footage of this game?
I've seen some footage for it. Yeah,
It's super like pop arty and comic booky, like super. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like pop arty, but Eli Roth is attached to this. He did what was his first movie? That Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever.
And then he made the first Hostel movie.
Yeah,
He made the
he
Green
made
Inferno.
Green Inferno. Fucking knock knock.
He makes a lot of like it's grotesque. It's like
grotesque.
It's like body torture stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a studio approaching a director type project or the director asking the studio to do it project, because this doesn't seem like an Eli Roth type picture. It's got quite a big cast. Cate Blanchett, who is the first person attached, and then the big one that got my attention was Kevin Hart's attached to play a soldier that's in this game. And Eli Roth immediately came out with a statement saying, we're very excited to cast Kevin Hart in this film because we are going to show you a side of him that he's never shown anybody. I hope he's 0% funny. I hope he's not
That's
funny at all.
Hoping. 0% annoying.
Yeah, and I think
doesn't have a motor mouth.
That's why I'm excited for this movie more so than the actual property of Borderlands, is to see Kevin Hart break out of his slump, being Kevin Hart and everything. Yeah, being a
caricature actor. Well, I also see here Jack Black and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, they're the newest additions just recently.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm assuming it'll be very exciting for people who play the games for these characters, because Jack Black plays apparently a robot from the movies or from the games. He's like Claptrap. Oh, I recognize Claptrap because I played it a little bit. He's like this robot that follows you around the whole time and explains the rules of the game and stuff.
Oh,
He's basically that character who tags along. He's called Claptrap.
I like how Jack Black and Kevin Hart are going to be in this one. I'm just doing the Jumanji movies. Yeah, no, I think that this could be interesting. Like Eli Roth, because his last movie was The House, the Clock, and in its walls, and Jack Black and Cate Blanchett were in that. So I wonder if Eli Roth is trying to take like another like approach and not be like this grotesque, ugly filmmaker.
For those of you who have played the game, Cate Blanchett is playing Lilith. Kevin Hart is playing Roland. Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Patricia Tanis. And Jack Black is playing Claptrap as of now. If those names get you excited, boy, is Borderlands the movie for you. We're going to end with a very controversial story. It's a remake of a movie that
beloved movie.
Yeah, it is the movie that gave the world color. Before, the world was black and white. And then this movie gave the world color. We're getting a new Wizard of Oz, a remake with New Line Cinema. Like, it's already attached to a studio.
Yep. And has a director too. It was Nicole Castle, the girl that did Watchmen, some episodes of Watchmen TV show.
I don't know. It's a very interesting choice. I agree, because she hasn't worked on a production as big as something like a Wizard of Oz remake.
Yeah, no, it's like it smells like Psycho to me, the Psycho remake, where it's just going to be the same thing but different actors.
There are 5 or 6 directors on the original Wizard of Oz.
Good God. Well, yeah, that makes
one
sense.
Credited. There's Victor Fleming, who's credited as the one director, but there's actually 6 different directors who are uncredited as directors. That makes me want to know what went on behind the scenes.
There was some pretty crazy shit. I think that they had to change directors like every week. Yeah, that movie had some trouble. That movie had trouble getting made.
I wonder if there's a book or something that talks about it, because they have.
Oh yeah, Judy Garland. She has a whole thing about it. But there's already been like so many sequels and loose adaptations of this, and they all failed. So it's like there's only been one, which is Wicked, which they should have done the movie adaptation of that like fucking like 10 years ago. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what they're gonna do with this. They have to make it groundbreaking, like the first one was. Like, we can't just be like, we're gonna start the movie in 2D and then you have to put your 3D glasses on during the tornado scene. It's like, that's like, I don't see why they would have to do this movie. The reason they made Wizard of Oz was because it was groundbreaking technology at the time. They're like, we can tell this mesmerizing story as well, like what James Cameron is doing. He's making Avatar because of the new technology.
Yeah, no, that's why it's like, it just feels like this is just lazy. They're gonna I think they're gonna get a good cast. I think it's gonna be, he's probably gonna look
Zach
really
Braff
good
as the lion. Oh man, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this Wizard of Oz, because I don't see the point. There's nothing genuinely groundbreaking that's going to be coming out of this, I feel like. All right, I guess those are all our 10 stories for this week.
Those are some exciting ones.
Yeah, I'm it makes me hopeful for the future. We got the Bullet Train, we got Uno game, a lot of GameStop projects, Cloverfield, Tick Tick Boom is going to be good, Borderlands. I will see it. It's going to be colorful. Did you do your homework?
Yes, I did. I did it last minute, like I usually do.
Yeah, I did. I did mine last night too.
Yeah,
I took notes.
I did it last night.
I took notes. Oh, you can't see it.
Oh yeah, no, I can see it.
So I watched Beverly Hills Cop as my homework. I am glad that I did this. I should have done this a long time ago. The thing that I noticed about Beverly Hills Cop is it felt like a sequel.
Really?
You know what I mean? In the way it's like the movie jumps right in. Like you get, it jumps right into everything. All the characters, they're like, oh yeah, we have this history. Like, it seems like everything that, like, all the introductions to all these characters were real quick, and they got to the point real quick, which was cool. And it kept, I was like, yes. Also, Axel, I don't really see an arc of change in his character, which is fine, because Axel is solid. Like, he's solving a murder. He doesn't change from beginning to end. He's teaching people because he's already solid. That's what sequels do. He teaches everyone around him how like certain things, like they teach him how to lie. That scene where he does a perfect scene, he's lying, he's just like, and then these guys say,
these are super cops.
Super cops. And then they're just like, is that what happened? And it's just like, these cops can't lie and they tell the truth. And he's like, he's super cool about it too. He's like,
I know.
I hope you guys know that was working. We were doing great. We had a great lie going. I hope you guys know that. It was great. It was really good. But you guys are still cool guys. You guys are good. Let's just remember that when the lie is working, you go with the lie. And he's just like walking out. He's just not mad either. He's like, whatever, like you guys could have been the heroes. Let's go.
Yeah. He's great in that, isn't he? That's like his best performances for me.
Yeah, and I love how he enjoyed him. Like, yeah, Axel Foley is a solid character from this one origin story, Beverly Hills Cop. It's like, I wasn't wondering where did he come from, all this stuff, because it showed me right away, and I was like, oh, I'm already established. So that's why it felt like a sequel. And I'm not saying this, but they could do a prequel sort of thing, or like even a book prequel, and just talk about Axel's origins, because that character is solid. I don't know where it goes in the sequels, but that character is good.
Yeah.
Axel
No, that's
Foley.
the thing. They kind of ruin him in the sequels, because, like you said, you made a awesome point, which that's the best part about Axel, is that he does teach everybody, because he's a solid human being. He has his priorities straight.
He already knows who he is.
Yeah. He's kind of a renegade cop, but he's not like destroying the city. He's actually very smart of what he does and how he handles situations. But in the other movies, he's just he's 90s Eddie Murphy, where he was just he was just so high off of his own success. So he was just always talking, blowing shit up, and it was just it got a little stupid. Because that's a great thing about that movie too, that the other movies don't do, is that it takes itself seriously, but it still has a sense of humor. But it's a legit, like, people die, and it's sad.
When the best friend dies, that sets him off to figure out who killed his best friend. I gasped about how they killed him and how dark it was, how like menacing that like murder scene was. I was like, oh my God. And I kind of wanted Axel to wake up and see it, and see the devastating, because everything was happening so fast that I was like, I kind of wish I saw him break down a little bit. But Axel Foley's just, that's not him. He's just ready for like revenge time.
Yeah. So did you know, originally it was supposed to be Sylvester Stallone?
What?
And he was, but Sylvester Stallone he wanted more like explosions and stuff, and everyone was like, "No, we want this to be like kind of more low key,
save money."
Yeah, right. But also the guy that plays the police chief in Detroit, that was a real police chief.
No way.
Yeah.
I like Beverly Hills Cop a lot. I would give it like 4.4 stars, maybe 4.5 stars out of 5. It's really good.
I wanted to watch Last Black Man in San Francisco, and I thought this movie was brilliant. It was pretty amazing. I wasn't expecting it to be so funny in certain areas. Like, especially the beginning when the preacher, he's like saying, we don't have hazmat suits. It's
Why do they have hazmat suits?
yeah. It's so weird how that correlated with what's happening now. Like, even at the montage of them going to white San Francisco, the white side of it.
Yeah.
There are people wearing masks.
This was before the pandemic, but that's a huge, I like the portrayal in this movie that there's two sides of San Francisco.
Yeah, no, and it was done. It was like, it felt like a Spike Lee movie, but it had more substance, and it knew how to preach without shoving the message down your throat.
But even though they literally have a preacher in the beginning scene, the first shot.
But see, that kind of felt like a jab at Spike Lee, the beginning of the movie.
I like that perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, because the way that they shot it and everything, and the way that the character's talking, because there is kind of a strange way people talk to each other. But with the preacher, it felt very Spike Lee, and it felt like they just like got the shit out of the way.
Talking to nobody.
Yeah, he's
saying his message, and these two people are just waiting at the bus stop across the street from him. It's such a good movie.
It is, and the cinematography is great, and the message is all there. Like I said, like it reminds me of Spike Lee if he's not being so egotistical, that's why I think Spike Lee's ego gets in the way of his actual message, and he just wants to say that he's smarter than you. Basically, he's smarter than anybody in the room. This director, uh, Joe Talbot, was just he did it so subtle while still playing with the camera a lot and doing a lot. He like the music in this too is pretty awesome. Like he made
Yes.
music and camera work be a character, be characters in the movie.
Mhm.
I thought it moved a bit slow at times, but the performances are fantastic. I love the surprise cameos too. We have Danny Glover, Mike Epps, and Tashina Arnold, who was
Mhm.
in Martin. But the main standout of the entire movie is Jonathan Majors, who plays the friend. He was fantastic. And the best scene of the movie, the scene where I laughed the hardest was when he's watching the group of people at Street Gang.
Mhm.
He's watching them just fight with each other, and he has this pencil in his notebook. And he runs up to them, he's like, no, cut. And he's just, and they're all like, at first I was nervous. I was like, oh man, are they
Something's
gonna
gonna
like beat the
happen
shit
to
out
him.
of him?
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about this movie, though. It doesn't do that. It doesn't really do it. Like there's one character that does die, but it it's very positive. It's very light-hearted movie.
The whole movie is about building a foundation that you can have anywhere.
It's something where I feel like I'll watch like certain scenes again, but I don't know if I would watch the whole entire movie
It's really long because
again.
that's how you can kind of tell like it's his project because he didn't really take anything out. And I think if he had any other studio that would pick it up majorly, I think it would have been a lot different, even cut like half as long because it is very long and there's moments that are like, I don't know if this needed to be in it, but I get why it's in here. Like I'm feeling
Yeah,
something from it, but it didn't need to be in this. And I think that's really cool of his first project that he did this because him and Jimmy, the main actor Jimmy and the director are like they wrote it together and they like
yeah.
they worked together before and this was their first major production. And so it's a bit of that both of them in this movie. And that's why it's so long because it's basically two stories integrated into this one.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fantastic. I wasn't again, I wasn't expecting to laugh so much. Not really towards the end. The end it was getting pretty sad. Especially once certain things are revealed. It's and that scene when he runs into his mom on the bus is like, oh
That
god.
happens so quick. You're like,
I
whoa.
know. I would rate it probably like a 4.5 out of 5. Like I thought was shot beautifully, but
Mhm.
it went on for so long.
All right, so let's do the homework again. Have you heard of Another Round?
Oh yes, I've been meaning to see that.
I watched that like a couple weeks ago, and that movie made me cry. If you could try to find a way to watch that, I would recommend that one. But
Oh yeah, no, I think that's available to rent now, so I can do that
it's
technically. But
all in a different language, though.
yeah, no, I'm completely fine with that.
It's technically called Druk, I
Yeah,
believe, because it's a Danish film, I think. But it's Mads Mikkelsen. It's about four friends who all test a theory to improve their lives through drinking alcohol.
oh dude, have you seen The Kid Detective yet?
No, I wanted to.
You know what? I'm doing that one. You should
I
find
want
a
to.
way to do.
I want to do that. I'll watch that. Okay, then
Yeah, no,
I'll watch The Kid Detective for my
yeah,
homework.
I'm gonna watch Another Round.
Okay, yeah, the Kid Detective is Adam Brody.
Yep.
I heard a podcast of his. He was talking about how passionate he was about this movie and how it's so sad that it came out during the time of the pandemic because this is like one of the
It's
first.
his best movie role. It's
Yeah,
his like I'm pretty sure it's his only leading role.
yeah, because he liked with the screenwriter who was just like, I have this movie that I like that I think you would like too, and they just had conversations about it for like 5 years, and then finally Adam Brody was like, "Yeah, I think I have enough money, and we can make this movie now, and I'll help you out." And they finally made the movie. So this is like his first investment into producing movies too, and it's this one, and it looked really good.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in it that is just you're wondering like where is this gonna go, and
Mhm.
then I won't say too much. It's really good. But
All
yeah,
right,
no,
I'm
you
very
watch The Kid
excited.
Detective. I'll watch Another Round.
I'm excited. All right,
Yeah.
I hope you guys join us. I hope you can watch both movies, but if not, let us know which movie you're watching. Either Another Round or The Kid Detective. Those are the movies we'll be watching. So let us know
Yeah.
what you think on everything social media. We are on History of Popcorn on Instagram, Twitter. You can find me and Justin's individual social media accounts through that. I'm excited that we're doing this. But I just want to really acknowledge that because you and your friends and even Patrick, who I saw, who's the director of your film, you guys You guys need to be out there. Like people need to see you guys, and that's why I always.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited to take this project into what it is, because I truly believe in you, Justin. I'm excited that we're doing this.
Thank you, man. I believe in you too. Yeah, no, Patrick would be a fun addition here. He's got some good stuff to say. Him and I get into pretty passionate arguments.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, arguments. I like that.
Yeah,
We'll have
very
Patrick
passionate
on the show. Patrick, if you're listening, which I hope very much, I hope you are, we would love to have you on the show.
Yes, Patrick Liam Dolan, we are calling you out.
Patrick Liam Dolan. There's a lot of people I want to have on the show. Like I want to have Spencer on the show, who made our theme song. He goes by Spencer Syke. I want to have him on the show because I was watching that Beverly Hills Cop, and the 80s synths of that were just so fun.
Right.
And that, because that when I was talking to Spencer about making the theme song, I was like, can we have synth? Like, I love the sound of synth, if that helps anything. And that's what he's like, yeah, I'll add some 80s tweaks to it. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing I thought when I heard the theme song. Like, oh, it sounds like Beverly Hills Cop.
And I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And it is in fact a good thing.
It's a fantastic thing.
All right. Thank you so much again, Justin.
Of course.
Thank you guys.
Adios. I love to think of Tobey Maguire as now just he's like Sam Elliott's. I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.